Oh, hi. I didn't see you come in. Oh, you know, you really gotta let people know before you materialize on their desk and stare at them playing guitar for like a few seconds. That method of making friends only works like 10% of the time. Alright, well, welcome to Horrendous Anime Vlog, numero dos, due, ni. We are the knights who say ni. So let's see here. I think I'm driving my mic pretty hard there. Turn that down. Okay, hopefully this works. Alright. So, hello, Internetville, once again. It is your best pal, Horrendous Anime Man. And I am here tonight. Yes. No other nights, though. You can't watch this video again. It's not allowed. So, there have been some new milestones in the progress of Horrendous Anime that I think would be a lot of fun to talk about into a camera for a while, while just sort of ad-libbing various nonsense to keep things interesting. So, yeah, let's see. What's new? I don't know, what's new with you? No, I'm kidding. Milestones since the last vlog. Number 1. We got emote events on dialogue. So, like, it's got regular RPG dialogue, right? But I wanted to, like, get outside of that thing where you can't tell the tone of voice by text. And, I went ahead and added emoticons to the dialogue. But not, like, in the text. Like, it just pops up on the character portrait. And, we are definitely going with the, mid-aughts, underscore, I don't know, you'll see, you'll know, but like, capital O underscore lowercase o. If you know, you know. So, that's fresh, that's new. That one actually took way more work than I thought it would, so, yay. We have a new data class, which completely changed the way the game kind of operates. We have the game context class. So instead of the game living in this debug script that exists on the HTML file, the game exists like completely within the, I don't know how to put it, the JavaScript space. I haven't really figured out what separates the document from like what's in the memory, but you know, I'm getting results, so yeah, we'll figure that out later. So the game context is basically like everything in the game. It houses the save data, the environment, like everything the game needs to operate. So that ended up being very helpful. It kept data more where it needed it to be. That was it was an interesting day. It was a scary day coding that one because like you know, if if you do something wrong with the way the game loads its data, then a game based on data doesn't really, you know, it loses some playability when the shit doesn't load. So, yeah, we got the game context, keeping things locked in. So next up, this one's big. We have added interactivity. Like, you remember the last time when I said, well, you have to go to the console to activate the dialogue? Well, not so now, dear viewer. You can actually interact with the items on screen and have what's supposed to happen. And a side effect of that was that this game now has collectibles. This is just a complete side effect of the interactivity debug test. So that ought to be fun. Milestone after milestone. Milestone number 5 or 6. I don't know which one I'm up to right now. We have emote events again, but this time they don't occur in the dialogue. They just occur like on your little, like, you know, your map, your environment. You just like you poke a guy, and he gives you like a RAR XD of some sort. That one's a bit more minor, but also introduced this next milestone. Dialogue hierarchy, which basically works like this. Like, some conversations are more important to have than others. So, like, if you were to have received a certain item that a NPC wanted you to get, then instead of saying his normal dialogue, he'll say, "Oh, you got my item. That is so nice of you to do. Here is this other item that unlocks this other thing." So that adds a little bit more. It makes the world feel a lot more alive, I guess, as opposed to just like static document elements that just say the same thing over and over again. And yeah, nobody wants to play a game like that. Like, I'm already on thin ice, fun-wise, doing a visual novel, so you know, I got to do everything I can. So I just went over the last milestone in that one, which was requirements. Now, you know, you can have different conversations based on which requirements within the game context you met. So, yeah, it's going pretty good. So, you know, I don't have to go over the whole story of this game this time, because you can, like, watch the other video. Anime Convention Goes Crazy. For those just now joining. It's gonna be amazing. Alright, so, next up. What do we got? Oh, yes, so all that stuff that I was talking about, you probably want to see it, right? Like, that is completely a valid concern. So let me go ahead and minimize myself and maximize what we got over here, which is the game as it exists right now. So, let me give it a refresh really quick. So if you look over in the console, you see that I pretty much just stopped coding the game and went to go make this video, because I still have my debug messages over here. So, all that aside, here we go. Watch this. Oh, wow. Oh, you have met the requirements to me to have a conversation? What? That's just wonderful. Can I have that conversation again? No, you can't. You already had it. Oh, that's right. Now, you guys may recognize this conversation. Oh, yeah, so. Okay, hold up. Let me pause my copyrighted music so I can show y'all guys the sound on this really quick. Okay, I'm bringing desktop up. Here we go. It might be a little bit loud. I don't know how loud that is, but yeah. Yeah, that was probably that was probably incredibly loud. And if you think that was loud, just wait till this next part. That's right, default action. If there are no dialogue options available, you can just keep clicking this thing and it'll keep burping. And that's my burp. Nothing in this game is unoriginal. I will never use someone else's stuff. Why would I need to? Why would I ever need to use someone else's samples? Okay, so there's probably some other stuff to demo too. It's not exactly as impressive. So we got, you look over there in the console, it adds it to the save data. And it adds that save data, removes it from the thing. And the next step after that is going to be ensuring that when other scenes load, it, much like the dialogue hierarchy, it checks to see if you have that item. And if you already have it, it just won't display it, because, you know, you gotta keep the new environments a little interesting. Alright, bringing desktop audio back down so I can keep listening to Goldfinger Superman official audio.mp3. Alright. Alright, so, pretty cool. Things are coming along. You know, there's, progress has come in a less than straightforward manner. I'm gonna, the next bit of this video is gonna be just like a sort of a, you know, the original intention of this vlog, which was to get you into the experience of trying to make a game by yourself as a solo dev. So, up next, gripes and grumbles. I got gripes. I got grumbles. More grumbles than gripes, but I mean, you know, I feel like if I try hard enough, then I can grumble more than I gripe. Or gripe more than I grumble. I don't know, one of those is probably better. So, gripe number one. Like, if you aren't handling your errors correctly, like when a piece of your code breaks, like if you didn't set it up right, it's just going to fail silently and you will have no idea what is happening in your program. So, you know, you can see over here, like a lot of this like process was just like looking at that console and just like leaving myself just clues as to what the heck was going on. So like it can be crazy sometimes, because I woke up one morning to start work on the game, and when I left it the night before, it was working. And then when I loaded it in the morning, it was just broken. Like something in the game had broken, and I did not know what it was. And that was a definite grumble. Not so much a gripe. That one was for sure a grumble. Because it basically meant that I had to spend a day untangling Christmas lights, but in a computer. Like, I can't see the Christmas lights. Like, I don't know how far to take the Christmas lights metaphor, but yeah, it felt the same. It was just a lot of work for just any functionality. Like, it took me an entire afternoon to figure out that there was this one line of code, just this, I think there's this one little math operation that it was down here in the function when it should have been up here in the function. So, this brings me to the next chapter, which is lessons learned. Error handling is very important. You got to handle those errors, and one of the ways you can do that is by having discrete functions for the actions that you want to take in your program. So instead of having just a straight up iterator right there, you might want to have that iterator be a function instead. Maybe not an iterator, but some operation that kind of changes. It shifts things a lot. That all right, cut this part. Okay, but really, using functions instead of just straight up code blocks, it kind of allows an easier way to trace back what's going on if you're handling errors properly within that string of functions. So handle your errors. Be sure that you are throwing those things as hard as you can, and that'll make your life much easier. So, lessons learned. Number 2, systems become much harder to, envision the more complex they get. I think that's why people invented flowcharts, because you just gotta kind of, connect these ideas together in a functional manner, and it can be hard to do that once you have for instance, the way this game decides dialogue, where a function calls 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 a function, and no one can keep 1,000 lines of code in their head. That's just ridiculous. There's no way anybody can do that. So I think an important part of game design is just drawing out how the game thinks in really abstract, broad strokes. And if that fails, just putting console log on every single line until you find the one that's broken, like I had to do to fix my issue of not having handled my errors correctly. So that brings me to lesson learned number 4, which is the system is as you make it. It's a one-player game. This Solo Dead thing is a one-player game. And, you start with a blank file. And then you quite literally just say what's what. You just define some data set, one key value pair, and then from there it just sort of, you figure out fun things to do with that key value pair. So yeah, if your system is hard to work with, or you know, you feel like it's too complex, do what I did and throw the entire thing in the garbage and make a better one. So, lesson learned number 6. I am starting to see this. I mean, this was a concept that they teach you in, like, Computer Science 1, but it's really, like, hitting hard, like, in game design, because the way they describe the pipeline in that class is design and then code. Now that's awesome. You know, that works really well. But in game design, there's also a third secret part of the pipeline, which is design, data, and then aesthetic. And that's the fun part. Like, once you get the design and the data done, you get to move on to the aesthetic, and that's the fun part. That is what I'm working towards here, is getting to the point where I can just focus on the aesthetic. But before that, I need the design, I need the data, so here we go. Yeah. Let's see here. Lessons learned. That's the end of the lessons learned. I got to have a little list here that I am using to keep this video on track, because I feel like the last one got off the rails a lot. Like, there were a lot of times where I would just pause and look at my desk for like 5 minutes, and that was an editing nightmare. So, keeping things moving. Okay, so, I gotta come back to camera 1 for a second, because I'm gonna talk about the 2 little moments of joy that I've gotten from this last week of development. The first of which is sort of an odd concept, but like, when you code a big complex function that only takes one parameter, once that big complex function is done, like, all you need to know is that one parameter. You no longer have to care about that code until it breaks. You don't have to, like, you don't have to remember the entire equation. You can just plug it in. You just plug in data, and the right output comes out the other end. Sort of like, you know, you got an internal combustion engine. You don't know how it works, but you know that when you press that pedal on the right, the car goes forward. And that's a great feeling, like, when you kind of make an experience kind of like that, where, you know, when you were developing it, you had to keep so many different variables in mind to make sure that they're all ending up in the right place. But on the other end of it, you don't have to care, and that's a wonderful feeling, not having to care, and you can just you know, play. God, I want to get to the aesthetic phase of this project so bad. Alright, so, second moment of joy. I think I spent like 4 hours going, like, following each function involved with the entire dialogue system, trying to find out why the emote events were playing their sound but not displaying their little face object thing. And it turned out that, like, it was way deep in the process, but there was this function that cleared the document elements that the thing was going to be appended to avoid overlapping emotes, because I can't code for that right now. I want to add overlapping emotes soon, but for now it's you know, I'm going straight for the data. So aesthetics are later. And that's... oh, I can't wait for the aesthetics. Oh my god. Alright, let's see here. Okay. So, you know, that's about it for the updates this time. We got the next vlog coming up. Of course, there's going to be progress on the game. You know, that'll be super exciting. But also, I found a... well, let me put it like this. My screenshot button is right next to my backspace key. So it turns out that I have this accidental visual record of the early stages of this game's development, and I thought it might be fun to just go over a few of those, I guess, more juxtaposed frames, like stuff that's way different than how it works now, because the game has changed a lot, and you know, it'd be great to share that with you. So also, if you have any questions about game design or coding video games, etc., all that good stuff, or you just want to know more about the game, just you know, leave something in the comments, and if you're cool, then I'll answer your question on the next vlog. So that's it for now. I'm sure glad you guys materialized on my desk tonight. That was very fun. But now I think you got to go ahead and leave, you know, because I'm going to go ahead and play guitar some more. Excuse me.